Folks, welcome to your week. Now, listen, we're recording this on a Saturday. We usually record on a Sunday, but if all goes well, I'll be on a flight to Amsterdam and Stockholm tomorrow to go see Taylor Swift. That's actually, you're not dreaming. I'm actually going overseas to see Taylor Swift and a lot of other things, of course. So, our guest, our host, every couple of weeks was nice enough to change our recording date because there's just, I would feel remiss if we didn't get to talk about everything that happened in this past week because there's too much. So let's get into it. The one, the only, Sophie Ross. Sophie,
Hi.
Welcome back.
I'm so jealous that you're going on an Eras Tour Euro trip.
I get to see all the changes that Taylor made to the original Eras Tour.
I feel like I would have preferred to see the old one because I don't care about the new album. I'd be like,
well, I want to see the Daddy, but Daddy, I love him. I want to see, because there's like one lyric that I really like in that. And there's like, I mean, listen, it's going to be like seeing Star Wars. I can't wait for all the lights and the costumes and the magic with me and 80,000 other screaming women. I'm so excited.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. No, that's fair that you want to see Daddy. I love him. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
It's ridiculous.
I would just rather,
Well, they cut a lot of the song. They cut like The Archer. They cut 'Tis the Damn Season. They cut a lot of songs to make room for songs.
They cut 'Tis the Damn Season.
They did cut that song because they had to make room for Tortured Poets department.
Oh my God. I would be so fucking pissed because 'Tis the Damn Season is like maybe my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time. Actually,
should I bring a sign that says this is ridiculous? Add those songs back in and
yes,
the whole time.
You should. Maybe it'll make it in the next Eras Tour movie.
What if I become one of those girls that I see on TikTok all the time that just film themselves singing along at the Taylor Swift? Like they never show Taylor, but it's me going like, yeah, and just doing like,
or you're like that girl that's crying, hysterically crying, and her friends are comforting her when Taylor Swift, I can't remember what song it is, but when she gets to one song, she was like, POV, she plays the song that got you out of the darkest hole in your life. Like what if that was you with Shake It Off?
Well, this helped me with my mom's passing. Shake it off. No, but that, by the way, the video you're talking about, I think if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even make it in the venue. They were outside the venue listening. Oh, that's insane. By the way, do you know the Crappens guys are going to the same show?
Oh my God, they are?
Yeah, all of the Bravo podcasters, we've all banded together.
That's so fun. Wait, I was just listening to Crappens Summer House because their Carl impression.
What's their Carl impression?
Wait, oh my God, I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to butcher it because I'm sure there's a lot of overlap with listeners of this podcast.
My Carl impression is I do it on the Patreon, but it's just like literal fear. It's just like no.
No, it's I just want you to support me. Oh, you look great, by the way.
The one scene in Summer, yeah, he always compliments her, and you can tell this is how scared he is. Like even before he goes to bed at night, he kisses her like 4 times on the forehead. He doesn't want to have sex, but he's like, like just whatever can get him to sleep quickly without any kind of physical contact. Potentially, that's what it always reads.
I was listening to also your interview with Lindsay.
Yeah. By the way, was that okay?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I don't know. I feel like it's just so crazy that it gets worse. Like she was talking about how like the rest of the season we see it and it's like, it gets worse. Like,
well, she
it's
said
so good that they ended up breaking up and she clearly seems like way happier.
But also, I mean, it's the same conversation with Ariana. Obviously, very different situations, but this thing of like dating other people all of a sudden makes you a loon because how could you possibly feel bad if you are currently dating somebody else? And I'm like, have you guys lived the human experience? you can feel bad about a relationship from 10 years ago. You can feel
And
bad.
also
Like,
trauma, like Lindsay literally, and Lindsay's gone through trauma. She was like, this was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me in my adult life. And I have to, like, she was talking about it in the context of having to watch it and relive it every week. And same with Ariana. Like, it's literally a traumatic experience. You don't just like, it's not the person, it's the experience that's hard to get over.
I had to cut this part out, but Lindsay was talking about, you know, they have to watch the episodes leading up to the reunion that was filming the next day. And she said, like, I've gotten up to the final episode. She was going to watch the final episode after we did the interview because she was just like not wanting to watch that final episode. But she was saying, she's like, yeah, it gets so much worse before that final episode. And I'm like, I feel like we're in hell already. And the Lindsay of it all, it's like, you know, you speak about trauma, and I don't want to take away from Carl's trauma in the sense that he dealt with his trauma in terms of addiction, in terms of losing his brother the way that he did. So I don't know if almost his nervous system is just so steeped in trauma that I don't know. Like, I'm trying to be fair to both of them, but it is like, I don't think he fully planned this out. I just think that's it. He didn't fully plan out anything. He didn't sit there and think about what it's like to get into this serious of a relationship when he is dealing with such a serious sobriety.
You don't think he was planting seeds?
Well, in the sense that I don't think he was able to verbalize how unsure he was. So he needed backup in form of his parents, Kyle, all of these things. And it's almost like, I don't know if he ever consciously thought I need to plant seeds, but I think he definitely needed other people to tell him that he wasn't crazy for feeling that this wasn't going to work out. Like he wasn't strong enough to do it himself. So he needed all of that backup. And the thing is, and like Amanda even pointed this out, and I think Lindsay as well, is that like, dude, if you're telling your side of the story to Kyle, of course Kyle's going to be like, Lindsay's insane, dude. She's shutting doors on opportunities instead of holding them open for you. Of course he's going to say that.
Oh my God. And that was like such like an epiphany when Lindsay was like, he has these narratives that he tells people. And it's like, he really does. He literally just like, he comes up with a narrative. And like his narrative before when he wanted to leave Loverboy was like, Loverboy sucks, like blah, blah, blah.
Yes. I told Lindsay this. So Lindsay thought this guy was miserable at Loverboy. Why wouldn't she ask questions?
But that was just the most convenient narrative for him at the time, I feel like. And now the narrative is, oh, well, like Loverboy wasn't that bad. So like, you know,
he goes, I'm a man of my word. I need to get a job by the end of the summer. Yeah. I'm a man of my word. And it's like, Carl, just say, go back to Loverboy. It's
compelling.
Well, I was consulting my LinkedIn, and it seems like this is a great business venture that in the non-alc space, and I support all of that, but just say that you want to go back to Loverboy. Just say that, like, dude, I don't know. I was in a different headspace 2 years ago. I know I said a lot of shit to you that makes you, you know, have a lot of trepidation about me going back, but this is what I wanted. But he kind of like hedges things all the time. And also the biggest thing I worry about is all the hair on his chest and shoulders. Did you see that?
I was
a lot of cleanup.
I was alarmed by that. I hadn't noticed that before. Maybe he used to shave it or wax it. I don't know. But yeah, I was a little.
If I had seen that episode, I would have asked Lindsay. Do you think Lindsay shaved his back?
Yeah, you should have asked Lindsay.
Lindsay, big question. Important question.
Oh,
did you take a weed whacker to Carl at anybody? No, I mean, at the end of the day, I've thought about this so much this past year because of Vanderpump Rules and all of these shows, is that like, spoiler alert, we all break up with somebody or we're all broken up with. And I guess like the conventional wisdom says we should be able to hate people. We should be able to be like, but that's just not the reality. The reality is a lot of people make really dumb decisions getting into relationships. They're not able to commit that the way their partner needs. And that goes back and forth throughout the ages, like for men and women, but men seem to specifically have an issue of being able, like we really are. Amanda says it in this. We are so, what did she say about how soft men are? What was the exact line? It was,
wait a minute.
Our egos are so fragile. When all the girls were out there talking, they were talking about how, and I was like, hell, she nails it. Like, I can't believe men would actually fight that notion. Like the biggest thing that we were able to convince the world is that women are more emotional than men. Like the fact that we've been able to convince the world that that's the case, when I'm like, I hands down am more emotional than any of the females that I that I know. Like I'm
You're
the
such an
biggest
ally.
fragile.
You're such
No, I'm
an
not an
ally,
no, I'm not an
right?
ally. I'm just fragile as fuck.
Except when you say females.
So what's the correct nomenclature? What is it?
Women.
Oh, chicks, babies.
What did I? Holes.
Holes. Here's the difference between men and holes. I gotta tell you guys something about holes. Yeah.
Wait, but back to Carl's like narrative, like world building that he does. It's the same with what he like tells Kyle about Lindsay. Like that Lindsay is the reason that like
yes.
Carl like is not like able to like have a job. Like I don't know. He's so like
he's all over the place.
I can see the gaslighter accusations now.
Yeah, but you can see the gaslighter. But my question is it gaslighter or is this person just so unsure of?
I just had iced coffee like drip down my lip. And I had to like suck it back up. I'm so sorry to everyone watching.
Hey, classic whole behavior. Am I right, Patties? Am I right? High five. No, the thing is, I just see somebody that is so unsure of every move they make. And they're scared and they've almost put their partner in the spot of mommy, mommy, approve of me, mommy, give me permission, mommy, this, mommy, that. And that's kind of what I see. So the gaslighting and stuff, these are words that like are obviously, they've come up so much in the last 10 years. And I do agree with a lot of it, but I almost think he is so unsure of himself that he's not planting seeds. He's just like, he's a mess. He's just a mess.
I mean...
In terms of relationship, not in terms of sobriety.
I don't know. I feel like he knew he is a mess, but I feel like at this point, I get what you're saying that like, it seems like he just wanted validation that he's like not crazy. It did feel seed planty to me. It did.
But
like
it does look like
those
that.
Cameras. He brought those cameras to the Jersey Shore to have that conversation with Lou and Sharon.
Yeah, in Watch What Happens Live, he said, no, my mom's on the show every season. We always shoot with my mom. But I'm like, no. Listen, yeah. I even know that reality shows don't necessarily like, oh, let's see what magic we can capture. You're going to have a conversation about your relationship. Know that. So that I think is a little bit disingenuous when he tries to plant a narrative of, no, we were just going to normally film and that conversation came up. Like, I think that was the conversation that was going to happen. But Carl also, he knows that he could have been like, there was no pushback. It was like, hey, Lou, let me tell you something. You just don't know us. Like, we are actually going to be great. Mom, I know you're worried, but do not worry. And Lindsay's also right. Don't involve your parents if you are worried about your relationship, unless you want the answer of maybe wait.
Totally. And I understand some people are like super close with their parents, like Carl is with Sharon, understandably. But yeah, I agree. I would be pissed if I were Lindsay in this situation. Like, this was definitely like I don't know, these past few episodes, because at the beginning of the season with like the cocaine Carl stuff,
it was tough. It was tough.
A lot of people were team Carl. And now it's like, oh my God, team fucking Lindsay. Not that there need to be teams.
No, there
don't necessarily need to be teams. It's just two people that were not right for each other. But
for the audience listening, just so you know, it's like not ridiculous. This is the first time all of the women have banded together in the house and they actually listen to Lindsay and participate in the conversation because they even see it. This is what
the Vanderpump girl should have done.
So I said on Patreon, I said the same thing. I was like, this is the season we deserved with the Vanderpump of ladies sitting around going like, guys are so fucking fragile. Can you believe this shit?
But, oops. Okay, I thought I lost you for a second. But I want to stay in Summer House because we need to talk about Kyle and Amanda.
Well, so that's the thing, you guys, is that Kyle is like the shoulder to lean on for Carl, but it's like, Carl, he's not the reliable narrator. You can't trust this guy because he literally does the same thing at the end. Amanda clearly says one simple thing of, I'm not leaving Loverboy, but I would love something of my own to really get me excited. He's like, oh, babe, I need you now more than ever. I'm not going anywhere, Kyle. Yeah, but how? I'm working for our future. And she's like, I just said one thing. You don't understand. We've lost money. He literally throws a conniption. The kind of shit that Lindsay, he says, does.
And said, fuck you, and called her a fucking bitch.
Can you imagine if you're Amanda having to watch that scene and just like, You could see
No.
that moment where Kyle's like, you don't get it. I'm
No,
working for the
I
family that I don't
also-
want to have.
I also wonder if she, like, I guess they watched the episodes in advance, but if she hadn't, like, known that he said that, because it was clearly, like, did he tell her that he said that to himself? Because that would piss me the fuck off.
I mean, that's what's wild. It's in the same episode talking about Lindsay and Carl. Kyle exhibits the same door-shutting behavior that he says Lindsay exhibits. He literally shuts the door on Amanda's dreams. And he pulls kind of a Sandoval in the sense that he goes, oh, she's lazy. You don't even get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, it's that,
Well,
like,
he was
women
like-
are lazy.
He was like, she says she works for me. If she worked for me, she'd be fired.
Yeah.
And it's like, if she'd be fired and she sucks so much and she's so lazy, why are you acting like the brand, like, totally relies is on her shoulders?
I know.
Like,
well, I mean, listen, the thing is, Amanda does all that graphic design. And to me, that is one of my favorite parts of Loverboy, the brand, are like the t-shirts, the hats, the logos. It really does pop. Yeah. And from my understanding, that's all Amanda.
But I will say, because I was actually talking to my fiance about this earlier, because we have gotten Loverboy in the past, but I cannot remember the last time we, like, saw Loverboy out or got Loverboy. And it's just man. And I can't, can you remember the last time you, like, bought Loverboy or you, like, saw Loverboy at a party?
I don't leave the house a lot, so there's no way I would actually see it.
Still, like, it just does feel like you haven't seen the brand, like, in real life as much as maybe its peak in, like, I don't know, 2022.
Well, for me, I feel like, to me, when he complains about losing money, to me, I'm like, oh man, I feel like they're 2 years away from selling to a conglomerate for a huge price. Like, I feel like this is on the right track, but now I'm kind of worried that you said that. But like when I watch those scenes, I feel like, oh dude, what are you bitching about? You know, you're going in the right direction.
It's also expensive. It's more expensive than, like, the average hard seltzer. And it also, in my opinion, it's not my favorite taste wise. So I don't know. I can see why they're a little stressed, and I'd be curious. That was last summer. So, like, is the business doing better? Like, I don't know. They're selling a lot of merch with, like,
that's
a t-shirt. There was a t-shirt with a quote from last night's episode or Thursday night's episode that was like Kyle when he was like, I want to be a fucking DJ.
Oh, I thought the quote was like, fuck you, Amanda.
Yeah. Fucking bitch.
Fucking bitch, lazy bitch. Lazy Come on. No, it's a great season, because then you even have the West and Sierra thing. And where do you stand on the West and Sierra thing? Like, should West, I mean, like, it is weird, and I've never had this perspective in my head of, like, if I haven't had sex all summer, I should be trying to, like, I don't know, like, if you really like somebody, I'm so out of the loop in terms of, like, what is normal.
I never bought into the West stock. I never did. I'm sorry.
I like him a lot, but I don't understand
I like him, but I was like, I got fuckboy vibes. And now everyone's like, you know, oh, he's a fuckboy. And I'm like, duh, he was this whole time.
Well, wait. He didn't say he was a fuckboy. He said he was just not, he wasn't sleeping or dating somebody, but he was still talking to people or texting. I
don't know. He just seems very immature when he was like, well, like, when you're with someone, you either end up marrying them or you have a really sad breakup. And, like,
that didn't make sense at all. He was, like, just fumbling around for a point in that talking head.
Like, that's scary. Like, I like things to be a little more, like, fun and light.
Yeah, well, but you know what, by the way, I now see a lot of his TikToks and all that. I don't follow him, but they come up on my FYP, and, like, it's like fun and light. He's always, like, showing what he eats. He's showing, like, and I'm just like, okay, I don't think there's any way that they're still together, right? There's no way.
No, apparently they're not. From, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't have, like, a firsthand source or anything, but, like, that's what I've been reading.
I offered Lindsay $300 to tell me. I offered $300. I offered Jesse Solomon $200 to tell me. Nobody will tell me.
I also read somewhere that he brought another girl, like a date, to the premiere party, which, like, I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, here's the great news. If you like Summer House's season, it got picked up for season 9. Season 9 is a go, so they will start filming this summer. So we'll be able to see all of this stuff. We'll be able to see if Lindsay brings her new guy in the house. We'll be able to see if Carl brings his new guy or girl in the house. We'll be able to see all of these things in season 9. We'll see who, like, does Gabby stay there? Does Jesse Saul? Like, everybody will be able to see.
Who do you think between Carl and Lindsay? Like, or do you think they both will?
Oh, I think they'll both go. At this point, if I was a producer, I would say, no, we're going to find a way to have them in the house. And
yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
I mean, like,
they both
are you kidding me? This is a gift.
They both need, like, the paycheck. Neither of them is going to walk away, you know?
No way. And it would be interesting to, whatever happens at the reunion, it'll be interesting to see that go further. And Amanda and Kyle, if they start filming, these episodes are going to back right into them filming again. So depending on what happens with Kyle and Amanda, I would imagine Amanda will go into this season a little frustrated with Kyle as well. Even though on their Instagram, they seem to be going to a lot of overseas events.
Exactly. I was going to say on Instagram, they see, that's why I wondered if she had seen that part yet of him calling her a fucking bitch, like, to himself on camera.
But Instagram is not real life, as we always say. I mean, maybe
I would be so fucking pissed. Oh,
but there's no way that's an act, right? There's no way that's an act that we're seeing. That really. By the way, I like Kyle. Like, Kyle is so fun to watch. I like Kyle.
It is like, grow the fuck up. You're 40 years old and you're still, like, getting that drunk all the time.
Do you think what it is that these shows, when the cameras go up, they're encouraged to, like, they're encouraged for any kind of bad behavior. So it's almost like this, like, fuck it, I'm going to let it rip every time the camera's up. So it almost encourages them, of course, to say things like fucking bitch, the things that you would know not to say in real life. Or do you think Kyle really is like that in real life to her? I mean,
it's probably a little bit of both, where it's like, oh, let's play up the drama, especially Kyle, who's a businessman. But they are also miserable together. They're not compatible. They're really just not compatible. Like, it's the same thing, but in my opinion, it's sad because I know that to them it's probably like sunk cost fallacy, which I had mentioned before, that they've been together for so long that it's like, oh my God, well, it's just all those years for nothing, you know? But, like, they are so, and I'm not wishing, like, divorce on anyone, but they are not compatible in my opinion. And it's, like, hard to watch.
Yeah. And by the way, when I get comments on Instagram or YouTube, if I say something, guys, my opinion at the end of the day doesn't mean dick. Like, and I like pretty much everybody except for Lala and Tom Sandoval right now. So I think there's good things about everybody usually that I watch. It's just that you have to talk about the things that you see. And I think we would be idiotic not to, like, actually point out what the show says, whether that be real life or whether that just be editing. It's still what we see. Now we're going to do a quick news story about something that's not Bravo and then go to Vanderpump Rules. Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. This guy isn't shooting blanks. This guy got his hole knocked up. Am I right, Sophie?
I hate you. Baby, baby. Whoa. Yeah. Congrats.
They already did their first.
And they renewed their vows.
And they did their first pregnancy photo shoot. And even one of the photos was a photo of Justin Bieber taking a photo of his wife. Very Inception. Like, get a photo of me taking a photo.
She was wearing, like, an archival, like, Saint Laurent, like, white gown and, like, veil, and he was wearing a backwards hat.
I feel like Justin got to that point where he's, like, so potentially out of touch in certain ways that he's able to dress like a big bag of garbage, and nobody questions him. Nobody questions him because they just want him to be happy. They just want him to be happy. Like, grow as many weird facial hair things as you want. Do you think that crying Instagram photo was about him becoming a father? Because he posted that a couple weeks ago and people thought they were all worried about Justin.
What was the caption again?
I forgot what the caption was, but Hailey said, "You're a beautiful crier" in the comment section.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It would be great if Hailey was like pussy in the comment section. Sack up, pussy.
That's an immediate ick.
Well, I mean, some women like to see men cry.
Except, I'm sorry.
Wait. Have you seen your fiance cry? Have you seen Henri?
No,
not yet. You can get him there today, Sophie. Get him there today.
I'm like, if you don't cry when you see me walking down the aisle, like don't even fucking bother showing up to the wedding.
Sophie, I still coach actors here and there. I could coach him into cry. I could get sense memory of when's the last time you thought about crying. I could coach him into that.
Wait, I saw like a Reddit thread because obviously the royal wedding happened a couple weeks ago. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, who's the royal wedding? Who?
Nick Vialli.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this. Hey, partner, I'm a cowboy.
Howdy, y'all. That wedding was a few weeks ago. And Oh yeah. I saw a Reddit thread about how all the times that he cried, not only at his wedding, which, okay, I get that, but also on his podcast, which I fucking listened to when he was like recounting the wedding. I hate myself for that.
Why? See, this is what I don't get about people. And even in this show, the hate listens are so weird to me.
I wanted to see, maybe it's also because I'm like a bride. But anyway, this Reddit thread said, I think Nick Vial can cry on cue. Like he can make himself cry. And I was like, I know for a fact he can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this guy is a trained actor. He got the tear sticks.
He had the
tears, the menthol. I'll gift one to your fiance just in case he can't conjure those. Oh my God, emotions
that's a great idea. Thank you.
But speaking of Nick Vialli, is the only thing. Like, listen, I really try to give this guy a shot because he's so successful. He gets great interviews, but I will say it's very frustrating when I get sent clips. And I got sent one this week about him talking about Ariana.
Ariana.
And what was he saying about Ariana, Sophie?
He was like, oh, I just like want her to get to a point where like she'll just like move on, like get over it and like not be triggered by it. Like I just want her to get to a point of like not being triggered by it. Like at some point you just have to like move on. And
I don't know when people aren't going to fucking get the timeline of this show that they started filming 3 months after this. When is the right time,
like,
Nick?
And it's also like, again, like we said, this is a trauma. Like it's not that she's like not over Tom Sandoval, which by the way, Ryan knows I saw her and Daniel, her newish boyfriend, on
the streets of New York.
On the street, by the way, and they were so in love and kissing on the street, just not in front of it was at it was like the median crosswalk.
I'll never release the photos, but Sophie was like a full-on stalkerazzi. Like she said, and they were like basically humping in like the middle of the street.
They were really cute. They were just like, they weren't like being inappropriate. They were just like being
cute,
kissing and like, just like had their arms around each other. It was so cute. So like that's real. I can 100% attest to that. She is not still like pining over Tom Sandoval. It's not that. It's the fucking like trauma that happened.
Well, I feel like I get fucking gaslit, and I said in the
and also the legal stuff. Like her life is embroiled in legal stuff, like Rachel suing them, and like the house drama. Like her entire life has been totally upended.
Well, and just because, like, I feel like I say this, it's so you guys are tired of hearing me say this. Just because you get some brand opportunities in a show, which, by the way, she goes back to Chicago in August because they're taking time filming season 12. Just because you get all these things doesn't take away the pain, doesn't take away all of these feelings that you have. And you can actually, I know this is shocking, but even talking about Lindsay, you can get a new boyfriend or girlfriend and still have trauma from a previous relationship But now it's not even trauma from the previous relationship. If I was Ariana, I'd have trauma just from watching this fucking season, from watching the bullshit that Lala said in that final monologue, her big Julius Caesar moment of like, I come to bury Caesar, not praise him. Like, what the fuck are you think you're doing? But if you guys listen to Shenanigans this week with Matt Rogers and Janet from the Valley, it's really actually fascinating because Scheana heavily insinuates that production really did kind of make it seem like if they didn't get these two people to talk, that the show was in jeopardy. So they were actually truly upset when Ariana did walk out because they thought this was the moment that production was really trying to get. And they feel like, oh, the show is now in jeopardy because they didn't get that. And I feel like that is if that is true, that is so fucked up by production, but it gives you a little window into what we see. But Lala, it really comes off as, I don't know what the fuck she thought she was doing, if she's a producer pet, as I call her, or what.
Yeah.
But if I was Ariana, I don't know how I would ever I wouldn't even tell her where I was headed, like for dinner. Like I wouldn't trust her with shit. Like never again.
Yeah,
and then in the after show, Lala even went harder and she said, nobody gave a shit about Ariana seasons ago. Nobody cared. And now what she says goes. Like Lala, at the end of the day, like you have more respect for Tom Sandoval than you do Ariana. It's so gross.
She's so jealous. Her and Scheana are both so jealous. And I can totally understand like production kind of like, she was
edging that on
because their edit that they did where it was like Lala saying some montage about authenticity and them sharing their lives now for so long. And
Lala, you're not even an original cast member. You weren't even a friend that was connected to anybody. You lucked out that you worked.
They're acting like Ariana like isn't being authentic. Like it was like this montage. And it's like, I think it would be more inauthentic to like have this fake ass conversation with someone that she like basically wants to have a restraining order against. Like,
well, this is what I wrote I wrote this on Threads. I said, I'm so confused about Vanderpump Rules. Isn't Ariana's reality not letting Sandoval into her life? Isn't she being honest about her reality? Is she supposed to pretend for the sake of the show? Audiences are way more sophisticated than Lala gives us credit for. I personally find it fascinating when someone protects themselves. Also, isn't Lala the character who hid she was dating Randall for a couple of seasons, and the cast, for the most part, helped her in keeping that off of the show? Like, I feel like I'm losing my fucking head when I watch and Lala, like she's so, she has the ability to be such a great character. And I'm now walking away from Vanderpump Rules going, do they just want us to be upset? Because that's a feeling as much as loving it is like really disliking it.
It's so funny how Lala is so confidently, like you can tell she confidently thought she was like going to be on the right side of history. Like she thought that everyone was so sick of Ariana at that point. Yeah, it's like
I feel like I'm losing my brain. Like I feel like this is so, even if you don't like Ariana, I still find it obvious that you would want to like understand exactly what she went through 3 months after the fact. And it's not like Ariana isn't showing up to film. She's still filming around this dude. And by the way, if you're talking about walking off the scenes,
she's staying home. It's not like she's Sandoval, like Mary Cosby. Like she is like there.
Sandoval walked off this season when he got offended that Scheana wrote apples about him. Oh, just make a profit off my life, dude. And then walked out with his 3 man bags. Like he's walked out. He ran out when Miami Girl confronted him. He ran out. Like, I just feel like it's so weird. I don't know if it's just a female male thing that we expect females to do more than men, but like, I feel like I'm losing my mind because this is crazy. And Lala, where do you picture the show going? Like just you against Ariana? Like, I don't see, and by the way, now what I assume happens, because we know at the reunion, which starts this week, that they make the cast watch the last 5 minutes of the show together. They purposely didn't let them watch it. So that starts this huge, I don't know if argument, but conversation. And I'm curious. I mean, that's actually going to be fascinating to watch, but I'm curious then. It's like, I feel like Lala, from my understanding, doubles and triples down and says, you guys are all weird and I don't like the way you move. Well, Lala, a lot of us don't like the way you move, and you are such an effective communicator, but you still have not been able to communicate why you acted the way you did this season.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's fucking jealousy is what it comes down to.
But like, why? Lala's got a whole fucking brand. She's doing great.
And wait, don't you love how like now the show is going on pause right when she gets pregnant, and she thought that was going to be like her storyline, but I guess she's going to be like maybe joining the Valley. Like, please.
Okay, so what my understanding of that rumor was that there'll be crossover episodes like they had this season, but there'll be more crossover episodes. So that's my understanding, but Lala kind of, I also wondered if that was dangled in front of Lala and potentially Scheana of like, hey guys, if you help out production and try to get these people to speak, we'll throw you into more episodes of the Valley.
Wait, that's a really,
by the way, I have no information saying that that's true. That's just a thought in my head, because it seems like, why did she go so hard when she didn't have to? But my other thing is, unfortunately, they picked a show where the Valley doesn't need them.
It doesn't. No, it absolutely doesn't. And I feel like if anything, it might like I feel like Lala would make it worse. Like, I can't really articulate why, but like, I just don't want her vibes on the Valley.
Why would I want Lala on if she's actually acting in this season? If she's like producing this season, why would I want her producing on another show instead of just being real? Why would I want that?
And I feel like the organic drama on the Valley is like good right now. Like, I'm good with it. So like, let's keep it like that.
Oh, but for me, there's a difference between Lala and Scheana. Like Scheana, for better or worse, I truly believe she like truly feels all of this shit. I believe she makes herself conflicted about everything. I truly do believe that she stays up at night thinking, oh my God, Tom Sandoval was so nice to me in the first season. Like, I truly believe everything that Scheana says. Lala, I do not believe.
She's a very emotional person with like her relationships with people. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, she puts herself in the middle of it, and I don't necessarily like people are like, oh, that's so egotistical, and that's like, you know, oh, the narcissism. But I think certain people, your brains are just wired so differently, and you can see that with Sandoval. Like, you know, like we're all like, are you fucking kidding me? But I truly believe Scheana in those moments of like, Tom Sandoval brought a sound guy out for me. He really does love me. Like, Ariana is so busy, like, but it's so weird because like Ariana is admitted to mental health issues, and that's why I relate to Ariana so hard. It's like sometimes I have a hard time getting out of bed. Sometimes I have a hard time answering text messages. Sometimes, I do want to be invited to things, but I won't go because I'm so scared to actually sometimes go out of the house. Like, those are very real things. Tom Sandoval, he's like, I'm going to show up, dude. Yeah, because you're wired differently. It doesn't mean Ariana is a fucking horrible person. It just means that sometimes it's really fucking hard to do these things. And that's why it's so cool to see her get her these opportunities. And she's like, she's forcing herself almost to do these things because it's a great paycheck. It's a great opportunity. But just like, you know, people's mental health shit is very real. That's why I very much believe Scheana. I just don't know where Lala is operating from.
Yeah. I mean, also with Scheana, like I've always been such a Scheana defender, and it makes me sad. I just like, I can't defend it right now because like, I get that she gets very emotional about her relationships, but like Ariana is her quote unquote best friend. Like, you need to back your best friend in that scenario. Like Katie is saying, it's like, if a guy fucks over your friend, then fuck that guy.
But also this is the funny thing. And it does make you feel silly when you start to really think about it of like best friends. Like, we're in our 30s and 40s, best friends, like friendships have seasons. They evolve. They like,
That's
you know,
fair.
go like,
That's
you know, it's
fair.
like sometimes it's like we're calling each other best friends. It's like, yeah, there was a time and I love this person dearly, but this person is not in my daily life. And that doesn't mean that they're enemies. It doesn't. In fact, Scheana on her podcast says right now, she barely talks to either Sandoval or Ariana. You know, it's like she doesn't talk to either of them right now.
I'm glad the show is going on pause.
Well, I was invited to Scheana's surprise birthday party this week and I had the sinus infection. And I had Jeff Lewis the next day, so I couldn't go. But part of me was like, oh my God, because they watched the finale. And part of me was like, I would like, listen, every time I see Scheana, I love her. I really do. I empathize with her. I can't follow some of her actions this season. And, you know, like she's always been very genuine to me. So I'm almost kind of not reliable as a narrator at this point, even for myself. But I just thought, how insane would that have been to watch the finale at Scheana's birthday party? Like, was everybody like clapping for her, or were everybody like, oh God, that was rough? But most of the cast of the Valley was there. You had Mercedes, MJ was at her party.
Wait,
Janet was there.
Did Janet have her baby?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Her baby's like, I think 6 months old or something at this point. Her baby's going to college next week.
Wait, I don't follow her, so I'm just like, she's just perpetually pregnant. Like, she's just pregnant.
Well, the show keeps you in that kind of place, but it is interesting to think about the Valley and now this crossover. I mean, you could talk for hours about this shit because even Jax and Brittany have kept their podcast When Reality Hits. And I was listening to clips from that this week, and it is so awkward because they really like Brittany is finally waking up to the man that Jax is to her. And it's really uncomfortable because even in this week's episode of The Valley, he's like, you know, your drinking's out of control. Your drinking's out. And Brittany's like, in the podcast, she's like, you can't paint me out like that, Jax. I had one shot of sake, Jax. Come on. He's like, well, you know your tummy. You shouldn't drink at all. You shouldn't drink at all. And he goes, well, Jax, what about when you don't come home until 6 a.m? He goes, yeah, you know what? I'm not the right person to be saying this, I guess. But then he backtracks like a minute later. He's like, listen, this is how I feel. And that's it. That's it. Ugh.
Can I also just say that my fiance the other day, and I've never been more in love with him than when he said, we were like talking about in the future maybe getting another dog. He was like, you want to have another baby? Act like a mom.
If we just get this man to cry, he'd be the perfect man. Like if he makes you feel less than. Yeah, act like a mom. You're ridiculous right now.
Having a baby would be the worst thing ever for Jax and Brittany right now, having another child. Like, no, they have way too much.
Wait, Sophie, have you heard of anybody that said the opposite? Have you heard of anybody that said they should have a second? Like, I feel like the Bravo audience can all agree on that.
It's just weird to be kind of siding with Jax on that. It's like, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, but not siding for the reasons that
Jax for once.
I mean, the Valley is so ridiculous. Jesse decides he's going to go on an ayahuasca journey to help his marriage instead of, just hardcore counseling. Like all of these men, Jax had to do like some weird Reiki thing. Tom Sandoval had to do breath work and a cold plunge. Jesse's like, I got to go have a spirit, like a vision quest in the desert instead of just working on myself. It's like, what is it? Like, we need some kind of like big fancy therapy to try to fix ourselves.
I could definitely be okay with Jesse and Michelle. Is that her name?
Yeah, Michelle Lally. Yeah.
She's okay. I'm sorry. I could do without them for next season. It sounds like they're bringing everyone back.
Fuck no. Because they're both dating new people now.
Oh, okay. Actually, you're right. I take it back. I just get very like viscerally uncomfortable when I watch them. So it's like, do I fight through the discomfort, I guess.
Yeah, well, you're a warrior. You're a warrior. As Ariana told Scheana, you're a warrior. We're warriors. The other thing about the Valley that I find interesting, and I feel like Janet should have known a little bit better because Janet is smart. Janet has a good, she's a smart person. But I will say it never works when you try to put the kibosh on another character and kick them out like Dodie. It never works. In fact, if you just want to use a recent example on Real Housewives of New York, everybody thought Jessel, the cast, you could tell, thought Jessel was a weirdo, and they kind of made fun of her and put her down. And then the show airs and Jessel's like a hero to everybody. But the cast didn't know that at the time. And it's almost, I feel like, guys, it was almost a misstep in trying to go so hard on Dodie.
They should have
known. I know. It's so weird.
Iconic. She is. She's literally made for reality TV. And I think that Kristen and actually Lindsay Hubbard, they both don't you feel like those are the two people on Bravo that literally were made for TV?
Oh, completely.
Jax.
Oh, Jax, no. It's not like you don't get points for being the most kind-hearted, well-adjusted person. In fact, if you're thinking logically in reality shows, sometimes that will count against you. Yeah, that will count against you. I mean, even this season, people have said, well, I've enjoyed watching Tom Sandoval's antics of trying to lie and cover up and all that more than I've enjoyed Ariana's hero storyline. Because sometimes we like to watch people fail more than we like to watch people succeed.
We like an anti-hero.
Exactly.
Kristen and Lindsay are both anti-heroes.
I would say Dodie more. Dodie is so fascinating in so many ways, but you've almost given Dodie, whenever you talk about somebody or go against somebody so hard, you almost elevate them in a lot of people's eyes. You could even say this, even with Lala, what a dumb move to go against Ariana so much, because Ariana's not the one out there screaming that she's great, but everybody else is screaming that she's horrible on the cast. You're just elevating her. You're just giving her more power that Ariana's not even asking for.
Right. Exactly.
By
the way, I don't think I pointed it out.
Oh yeah. Sophie's wearing Cincinnati Bengals drip, this nice jacket, because Joe Burrow, after we talked 2 weeks ago, when I informed Sophie that Joe Burrow was single, she found out on the show. And ever since then, Sophie has worn nonstop Cincinnati Bengals outfits.
And this jacket actually just got sent to me by 75 South Clothing. So a plug.
People are sending you Cincinnati Bengals merch.
This one brand did 75 South Clothing, which was very nice. So thank you. Shout out to that.
Hey, 75 South Clothing. Can you send me some Chiefs gear because I'm pro Taylor? Come on.
Oh my God, you're so annoying.
Come on, 75 South.
But so I actually of course, when the fucking like sports fans, the Bengals Twitter like boys and all of the Joe Burrow like dick riders, which I wish I
Dick riders
was literally a Joe Burrow dick rider. But like I tweeted about how, oh, I actually confirmed that Joe Burrow is single, and it's because I have younger cousins that went to Ohio State at the same time as Joe and his girlfriend Olivia, or his ex-girlfriend, I guess now.
And they were able to confirm because they talked to his ex?
Yeah, they are running the same social circles as the ex.
Why did they break up?
It was apparently mutual, and
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. That's what they were like. That's what we heard, that it was quote unquote mutual. It's like, I don't know how it can be mutual when you have like Joe Burrow, but apparently he quote unquote, he's really upset too. So that's from an inside. And I said, I have like an insidery source. Like I have someone who I trust who literally like knows this person. And all these people were like, fake news. Just you all have like a fake source. And I'm just like, okay, like you don't have to believe me.
Well, what I will say is that I
don't want it to be true, but I'm gonna, take advantage of this moment.
I'm sure. That actually is. That's a really cool. Actually, I really like that jacket. The thing about Joe Burrow is that I think it's because I follow you on Twitter. I got like fed something this week of like Joe Burrow throwing a football at practice, and somebody was like, "Oh, he's definitely back." So I guess his throwing arm's good. I don't know what that even means, but he's looking good, you guys. He's looking good.
Yeah. His wrist got injured last season, so apparently it's healing well. Knock on wood. So we'll see.
We're big Joe Burrow supporters here. It's so bad it's good. By the way, did you check out the Tom Brady roast on Netflix this week?
Oh my God. Wait, we fell asleep before we finished the second half, and we still haven't watched the second half, but the first half was so...
Well, Nikki Glaser destroyed. I mean, so funny.
We've been saying, since we watched it, we've both been saying, me know that. Me know.
She did this amazing joke, folks, where she was like, Tom Brady lost 30 million in Bitcoin. How does that even happen? Even Gronk is like, me know that not real money. And it was so fucking good. And I mean,
like you could tell the place erupted. But you know who is not good? And I feel like you're going to agree, because I feel like we have the same, like,
who?
Tom Segura and
Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. Yeah. It's so weird because they have huge podcasts. They are selling out, like the forum where they did that Tom Brady. They both had shows out where they've sold out. So they've got a huge audience, but they didn't like, and I almost thought it was almost bad that they went up together because they're also solo stand-ups. Their bit together, I just don't think was nearly as strong as some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And especially for being so well known, I just didn't think they came as correct as, but I don't know. I think that's one of the first roasts they've done potentially in terms of like a live audience. Cause this was different than Comedy Central roast because it was live on Netflix. And because it was live, if you watched it initially, Kim Kardashian went up there and Kim Kardashian got booed. Did you see when Kim Kardashian got booed?
Did they take that out?
So guys, as of 2 days ago, Netflix edited out the audio of the boos, and that's fucking ridiculous. Like that is insanely ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Because it's a roast, you guys. It's a roast.
Roast.
Okay, by the way, you're supposed to hear offensive things that you are offended by, but it's a roast. That's what it's designed to do. And Kim Kardashian, to her credit, handled the boos like I would have fallen apart. She's like, okay, guys, okay. And, she had her jokes written for her and some of her jokes were good, but the boos, you got to keep those in, Netflix. It's bullshit. It's like how they had edited Alicia Keys out at the Super Bowl when she hit that wrong note during Usher's performance. And then they edited it wrong note. It's like, no, these are live performances.
Yeah.
Don't edit shit like that.
Oh my God, that pisses me off.
Did you hear so you didn't hear the Tom Brady joke at the end when he went up and he was like, Kim, I know you were so scared to be here tonight. You were terrified because you know that your kids have to be home with their dad. And Kim's face was like, dude, too far, man. Too far.
Oh my God. No, but the Kim getting booed thing, I gained a lot of respect for her, actually. Like, she was so unfazed by the booing.
But it brings up...
fucking cried for like...
Dude.
like
she's worth $2 billion. Like, I mean, I'll take some booze. I'm like, she should be able to. I feel like Kim has prepared her whole career to always be disrespected in a certain way. And what's so interesting, you guys, the Kardashian, the new season premieres next week. It premieres in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. And it's relatively silent on the Kardashian front. We're starting to see them pop up at more events, but I don't know. Like, are we, I hesitate to ask this, but are we finally getting near the end of, or like, getting over it as a society?
Wait, is there even like a trailer for the new season?
Yeah, there's a trailer. And the big thing is that Kris Jenner reveals that she has like a cyst and potential cancer, and Kylie and everybody are crying. I want the best for Kris.
I haven't seen this. It hasn't come across.
Yeah, isn't it wild? It hasn't really been. I think Kris Jenner is okay because I don't think they actually would handle it in this way. So I'm not sure. But also, I just don't even know how much I care. But you're seeing little news stories pop up. Like Khloe Kardashian was on a podcast last week and talked that her son doesn't look anything like Tristan. So she made Tristan take a couple of paternity tests, which blows my mind because it was like they didn't have sex to have this baby. Like she was inseminated, right? Or like the carrier, like the lady was inseminated with Tristan's sperm. So how the fuck would it like? Why are you giving a paternity test to Tristan?
I don't understand.
You didn't read this? No, it was so confusing to me.
Maybe she thinks the surrogate. Does she think the surrogate like slept with someone else?
Well, she asked Rob. She was like, "Rob, did you like donate your sperm anywhere?" Because the baby looks so much like Rob, her brother, and her dad, or her so-called, anyways, it looks like Rob.
I think the baby looks like Khloe.
The baby, but she's right though. The baby doesn't look like Tristan in a lot of ways. I mean, like in how True looks like.
Wait, because
Tristan.
What's his name? Tatum?
Who? What?
The baby.
Oh, the baby? Oh, I don't, you know what? I don't know. That's how, I don't know. Rocky? I don't know.
Rocky. Rocky
Barker? No, Rocky, isn't Rocky Courtney's baby?
Yeah, Courtney's is Rocky Barker.
Chloe's son's name.
I think it's Tatum.
Oh, Tatum. You're right. It's Tatum. But if you look at the picture, there's a picture of like the baby and Tristan side by side, and it truly does not look like Tristan at all. So I can understand. And how messed up that Khloe is so paranoid being with Tristan. Like she's not actively with him, but like how fucked up Tristan has made her mind that she legitimately is like, did somebody fuck around with my child? Did somebody like say it's Tristan's and it's not?
Oh my God. No, but Tatum was a surrogate baby, right?
Yes. But it was with Tristan's sperm.
Yes, right. Okay. Yeah. I don't think he looks like Rob Kardashian.
I can see it a little bit.
Okay, whatever.
Also, there was another thing about
sleep at night.
There was another news push about Khloe a couple weeks ago where she said listen, somebody said, I still think Khloe should be a lesbian on Twitter. And Khloe chimed in on this and said, well, you never know what my future holds. Khloe said this. And I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if Khloe Kardashian gets a lesbian storyline before Kendall Jenner? Like Khloe beats Kendall. Like, but at the same time, if you were with somebody like Tristan and it happened that many times that publicly, wouldn't it kind of like, I don't understand. I know this is potentially reductive and offensive, but and no offense to your fiance, I don't know why women aren't all lesbians. Like, it does. Like, there seems to be so much evidence that we guys are not great. So like at a certain point, I would completely understand if everybody's a lesbian.
I would if I could be. Unfortunately, that's not how I'm biologically programmed.
No, I know, but that's why it's a horrible comment, because it's something that you're born as not work.
My pheromones are for the men.
I'm glad you're apologizing. That we needed this apology from Sophie. Okay, back to Vanderpump Rules. Joseph was in the finale. Kaylee Joe, Schwartz's ex best friend, whatever. So she is in there, and Schwartz, like, what a dummy, like that he throws her into the lion's den of like, yeah, go apologize to Katie. That sounds like it's going to be a good thing. And we all knew how that conversation was going to go. I do want people to get away. Like Joe's always like, be nice online, be nice. People are mean to me.
Joe is insane.
People should have been mean to you. People should have been mean to you. I'm sorry.
Insane. She is.
Did you see the Instagram live? Did you see the Instagram live?
She did an Instagram live about how Schwartz blocked her and like blah, blah, blah. Like she does Instagram lives all the time, like talking about Schwartz. Like, that is fucking insane behavior.
This is what it's so interesting is when people start to get a little taste of reality show fame, they are not used to this many people wanting their opinions and takes. Right. And Joe, I don't think like, by the way, Joe's not a monster. I mean, she's thirsty a little bit, but I don't think it's,
she's like a little,
she's cuckoo. 80. Yeah. She's exactly in a more positive thing in the way that Katie said
derogatory saying that cuckoo because I you know, on SUR's.
But at the same time, aren't we allowed to say when people like behave a little bit differently? And I know she has ADHD and I know these things, but also you see this with reality star people when they first get a little taste of it, like they just really love the platform. Yeah. And Joe Joe seems like somebody that needs constant reassurance and needing people to have a conversation. But it's like one of those things. It's like Joe's trying to give advice on relationships. I would never fucking take advice from anything from Joe. Like I wouldn't even let her dye my hair at this point. And no offense to Joe, but why would we trust any? It's like Kyle giving relationship advice to Carl. It's like why would we ever take their advice?
You're leading the blind.
Yeah, you're better off just going by your own heart and your own instincts. But Joe, you guys went on this Instagram live, said, "Oh, you guys, I've got to read these texts that Schwartz sent me," and the texts were because Joe.
It made me too uncomfortable to like watch.
So Joe did an Instagram live, I guess, earlier in the week where she called Schwartz's new girlfriend a fan. Which is initially what Joe was as well. She called her a fan. And so Schwartz said, hey, I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it if you stopped talking about me and my girlfriend. It's makes us uncomfortable. And also said, why would you ever spend time doing this with somebody that does not want to be with you? Don't waste another moment trying for this. And he says, I'm going to have to block you for, respectfully, I'm going to have to block you. So all of this will fall on deaf ears. But I hope you will stop. And she says, he said, what was the thing too? He said, you're not respecting my boundaries, which is wild because this is how silly humanity is because you're like, well, didn't we not respect Ariana's boundaries this season? But whatever. Listen, Schwartz definitely led this girl on, but Schwartz is being very clear at this point in not wanting this relationship to continue. Joe's behavior then to put this online and to air it out because she obviously doesn't have enough good friends in her life to talk to is really bad at this point. Like, yes, Schwartz ultimately really bad for what he did to her this season and what he did before. And it was shocking to me to even realize that they were still sleeping together during that season. I thought it was like a 1 or 2 time thing. I didn't realize it was consistently. So that does fuck with somebody. But to air this out online, my only thought is that does the production bring her back for season 12 just to fuck with Schwartz?
No, she's scary. She's really scary. She's someone I saw people online calling her an SWF, by the way, single white.
Single white female.
Like it's gotten a little too weird, I would say. Well, but I understand her grievances and I understand why she's hurt because Schwartz absolutely led her on and like made her feel like shit and kind of like, fucked her.
But then but does that, when somebody then does like give a boundary, like you want a boundary, here's a boundary, please stop. Do you respect that boundary or do you say, fuck that?
No. Oh my God. It's her behavior now is what I cannot understand. Like, this is so embarrassing. Stop talking about him.
I know.
Stop. It's not going to make him watch and be like, oh my God, I made a mistake. I need to be with Joe. Like,
but in other Instagram lives she was doing a couple weeks ago, she said, we are destined to be together. Like she was like saying shit like that. And I got to tell you, I even knew back then, I said,
I just started watching Baby Reindeer. I haven't finished it yet, but
oh my God. What episode are you on?
I've only watched 2 episodes.
Oh shit. You are in for a ride.
Is it giving Baby Reindeer?
Well, a lot of Vanderpump Rules from so many different angles is giving Baby Reindeer. I mean, like there's so many elements of not even just with this story. Every story on Vanderpump Rules is Baby Reindeer. But after oh God, this was a new story. By the way, can you go a little bit over? Are you still good on time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to bring this up because Baby Reindeer follows Richard Gadd, who this is a true story. Some of it's a true story, but it's this experience that he had with a stalker that he was friendly with that actually then ended up sending 41,000 emails, 300 hours of voicemails, all of these text messages, Facebook, all of these things. The real life Martha, and I knew this would happen, they found her and she went on Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is such a douche sometimes. Like, I thought this was so dangerous. It's like giving Joe, in a sense, like this kind of airtime is that you give credence to their argument when in actuality, Martha, the real life Martha, is a very ill person. Like, no matter what, stalking is not a cool thing, regardless if you feel like you were led on or not. Now, Richard Gadd, and what's so fascinating about Baby Reindeer, Sophie, which you'll find out they're both guilty. Richard Gadd is very honest that he participated in this. That this is like, what I loved about it was that it showed up like another, way of like how fucked up and flawed we are as humans, and how much we will accept because we hate ourselves sometimes. Like, there were so many elements of this that I was like, oh man, I relate to this so hard. And I don't want to give anything away to you, Sophie, but there is an element where he said,
I've already gotten that impression in the first 2 episodes. I'm like, just stop, just cut her off now. And he won't.
Yeah. Well, he says this thing, and I think this is towards the end, and it's not a spoiler, but he says, sometimes, you, for whatever reason, you're wired to always feel so low about yourself.
You like the attention.
That you will let people in that normally you shouldn't let in. And I was like, God, I have never, that to me, I related to so hard. Like, if you don't love yourself, if you actively think like that you truly, like, I related it. And by the way, it doesn't excuse behavior, but sometimes if people are looking for reasons, you got to like let people tell their reasons. It's like, maybe I don't think that much of myself. And it doesn't have to be sympathetic, because I feel like he tells a very honest portrayal. But anyways, it gets so dark, Sophie. It gets so dark, but it is so good. But anyways,
everyone's been like obsessed with it. And I'm like, so far, I'm just like uncomfy.
It gets way more uncomfy, but it's really good. And the actress that plays Martha is so good.
I get just as uncomfortable as I do watching Jesse and Michelle on The Valley.
Yeah, exactly. Well, by the way, it's like so funny is like how uncomfortable became like one of the biggest commodities in entertainment. And I feel like it started with things like The Office. Like, it used to be like punchlines were the thing that you would laugh on, but then The Office kind of ushered in this new thing, is that the laugh would be on Michael Scott saying something uncomfortable and the air in between the lines. Where in old sitcoms, it was the line that you would laugh at. And then we grew to like, just like that uncomfortableness, and it would make you laugh in the uncomfortableness or just sit there and go, and it's weird. Like, uncomfortable is a huge commodity now in entertainment. That's why Vanderpump Rules works.
That's a really good point.
Baby Reindeer.
Film class.
Sorry, you guys. Sorry, I don't want to Ryan splain anything, but because I used to study acting and stuff, and we would always talk about that.
That's actually very interesting to like think about it that way.
But I watched a lot of the clips of this Piers Morgan
shows like Parks and Rec and like 30 Rock and
it's all. I mean, and think about like movies, even like back like Meet the Parents and all that. It's all about like Ben Stiller being a complete schlub that can't do anything right, and he's destroying everything around him. And so you're so uncomfortable watching these things.
Veep.
Veep. Oh, perfect example. Yeah. Okay.
Veep.
Okay, The Valley has been renewed for season 2. Watch What Happens Live has been renewed. And there was a story this week that Andy Cohen, after a internal investigation at NBC Universal, has been cleared of any wrongdoing with Brandi Glanville and Leah McSweeney. And he is still the face of the network. And Watch What Happens Live has been renewed. Do you have any opinion on this, Sophie?
I mean, I think a lot of it is bitter ex-housewives. They're bitter, in my opinion. So yeah,
it's like Brandi Glanville was tweeting this week going like, I used to love you, Andy. And I'm like, girl, like work on yourself. Like, also, Andy is not responsible for you.
At the same time, if something were, God forbid, to come out about Andy Cohen, something unsavory that would cost him his job, what would Bravo be without Andy Cohen? Because I can't picture it. I can't picture it without him.
It'll have to happen one day. And I talked about this in a couple episodes ago of who I would want to replace Andy, but it's such an impossible question because it's so ingrained in the DNA.
Right.
And obviously, if Andy ever is replaced, I think it should be a couple different people, not just one. And it's got to be, if Andy ever does decide to go, like Lorne Michaels. By the way, Lorne Michaels, I always compare to SNL. He's going to leave after the 50th season of SNL. In fact, they set the 50th season SNL show for February 16th. Is going to be the 50th anniversary of SNL. And then Lorne Michaels has said he's going to leave. And there's a lot of rumors that Tina Fey is going to replace him. But Andy Cohen is the same way. It's that like, it's impossible. It has to be a gay man or a woman, whoever replaces him. It just has to be, because I feel like that is what Bravo has been built on. But it just depresses me to think about.
Do you remember when Joan Rivers, rest in peace, we missed her during the Met Gala. Remember when Joan Rivers passed away, and I guess she wanted her replacement to be Kathy Griffin?
No, I didn't know that.
Which didn't like work out. It just was not made. She hosted it for a little bit.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Fashion Police.
Yeah.
But it was not good. It wasn't the same. What if like Andy Cohen put in his will that he wants Nick Vialli to replace him?
By the way, that would be my 13th reason why. That would be my
Nick Viall is so delusional that he probably thinks he would be in the running. Like now that he's ingratiated himself.
He's probably offended that he would not be a part of that conversation. But I feel like that's a ridiculous conversation. And, you know, like Nick and like Heather and all of these people, like I always think it's interesting because I'm like, you guys have built such a great brand. Like keep going the way you're going. Like you don't need to be on anybody else's list.
Am I allowed to say something about Heather?
About what?
Or will I get?
No, I mean, you can say whatever you want. I mean, yeah, you can say
about how Heather. Why am I blanking on Heather's last name? Juicy Scoop.
Heather McDonald.
That she got really mad at people in her Facebook group for even suggesting that Andy Cohen's replacement wouldn't be her.
Is that true? That's not true. Did she really?
About this?
Did we? I that sounds like almost impossible. I mean, because I feel like Heather's got her own lane where she would not need. But by the way, I mean, it's always been rumored that Andy has really disliked Heather in some ways. So I feel like, why would you want to? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's that thing that we all want to be like thought of for something, you know. But I'm like, Heather's already so big that why would you?
Right. Which is why it shouldn't. Oh, I'm gonna send it to you. I was right, but it's okay. I mean, like, yeah.
What are you sending to me? I'm trying to, text?
Yes.
Okay. It's not coming in yet, but it'll be here in a second. Well, anyways, I think we all, I don't want to think about it, but the reason I brought up the Andy Cohen of it all was that, did you read the John Mayer letter? Because there was an article this week that came out about Andy Cohen in the Hollywood Reporter. Wait, it just came in. Oh, here it is. Oh, this is the Reddit thread with Heather. There was a post here tonight where someone said they would like to see Andy Cohen replaced and who should replace him. Do you people not know who I am? Do you not know who I've been doing for my career for the last 25 years? Do you not know how freaking hard I work on my podcast, Juicy Scoop, twice a week? Oh, so this is real. What year was this? Was this year?
I think it was it was last year.
Well, listen, I mean, I feel like, of course, she doesn't need to do this because I feel like Heather doesn't realize how big she is sometimes. But at the same time, right. I guess she's standing up for her work. Because she has worked so hard for 25 years. I mean, I'm trying, like, I just feel like.
You know who I miss, actually? Speaking of Heather McDonald, I really miss Chelsea Handler.
You know what? I was never a Chelsea Lately person, not because I dislike Chelsea. But so many people that listen to this podcast will tell me how much they love Chelsea Lately. And I wish it was still around because I would have loved to have been, a panelist on. Like, I don't need to be the head of anything, but man, she was one of the last panel shows where like she broke so many comedians, Fortune Feimster, Chris Frangiola, Heather, all of these people. Like what a cool legacy that show has. And it's so sad we don't have that. I
know. I'm where is she these days?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's rich and doing specials, and
she's always like skiing naked.
I know, she really is. So John Mayer sets the record straight on his friendship with Andy Cohen because the Hollywood Reporter did a front page cover story on Andy Cohen, and they talked about John Mayer and Andy Cohen's relationship, and it was kind of like questioning the friendship in a way. And the author said, your friendship with Mayer has been the subject of intense speculation. He talks to Andy about, he says, people seem dubious that a straight rock star can have a close platonic relationship with a gay TV personality. Cohen says, let them speculate. I honestly love John Mayer and he loves me, but because we are so affectionate to each other, people don't know what box to put that in. They assume we are sleeping with each other, which we are most definitely not. Now, John Mayer, this is the fascinating part. John Mayer took umbrage with this and wrote to the author of this Hollywood Reporter article. And this is his writing. He goes, I read your interview with Andy Cohen and was intrigued by your line of questioning regarding our friendship. You posited that your friendship with Mayer has been a subject of intense speculation, blah, blah, blah. People seem dubious. John Mayer continues, I think this is a somewhat of a specious premise. First, there is a long and storied history of rock stars, not mocking, just won't refer to myself as one, befriending gay icons and artists. Second, I think that to suggest that people are dubious of a friendship like mine and Andy's is to undermine the public's ability to accept and understand diversity in all facets of culture, be it in art or in real life. I'd like to think they've sophisticated enough to see a relationship like ours without assuming it must include a sexual component. That turns the concept of being gay into an ignorantly two-dimensional one, which I know you know it's not. I don't question that at all. I love intelligent discourse, as I hope you'll find this email to be, but I bristle at your selectively flimsy logic meant to coax an answer when the premise itself is so deeply flawed and quite possibly not even quantitatively true. Quite simply, if someone is dubious of a platonic relationship between a straight man and a gay man, I don't think that shallow a view deserves clarification by anyone with self-respect, be it Andy or your publication. Reinforcing the idea that any great gay-straight relationship needs qualification, that it's not sexual, devoids everyone involved of their dignity. Respectfully, John Mayer. P.S. Your body is a wonderland. He didn't put the P.S. Man, he wrote a lot of college words. A lot of college words in there. A lot of big words from John Mayer, as he usually does.
I have been and probably always will be a John Mayer fan.
Listen, I agree with all of that letter, but I will still say I think they slept together. I will still say because that's in my weird mind, but that I just would love to see that happen. But that's what I think a lot of this comes from. But John Mayer is so dead on in so many aspects of that letter, is that like we do, like myself included, we want to fantasize about these weird things that you can just have. Like, I will say I look at that friendship sometimes and I'm envious of it because when I really like somebody, and it's not often, and I don't let myself like nowadays go, but I used to I love when people can be like, I openly love you. Come here, hug me, brother, hug me. Like, I love shit like that. I love seeing that. And it doesn't have to be sexual.
I want to be like the third in that little like trio.
Could you? I would love, but I don't see, like, Andy Cohen still gets such a hard time and a rap from a lot of people, but man, he gets to go to the Met Gala with Sarah Jessica Parker. He's best friends with Amy Sedaris, John Mayer, Anderson Cooper. Like, I mean, it's just like God, I love his life. He seems like a good dad. I mean, so many great things.
He's this generation's, what's his name? Truman Capote.
Oh God, Truman.
I'm Andy Cohen. I'm Andy Cohen.
So the Swans on FX?
I didn't watch it.
I really like it. Bad. Well, people say it's bad, but I just like the lead guy's performance so much that I thought it was like, it was just like it's
the cast. Diane.
Oh, did you see Ryan Murphy cast Travis Kelce in one of his new projects? Like, Travis, like, maybe slow down a hair. Like, you're doing everything now. Like, it's a lot. I didn't know you wanted to be an actor.
No, oh my God. I'm so fucking excited. Someone was like, can you imagine what's going to happen on set when Travis finds out and he didn't read the script and he finds out that he has to make out with Matt Bomer on his first day?
Yo, bro, this ain't New Heights, bro. No, not going to fly, dude. No homo over here, dude. I'm a John Mayer ally. John Mayer ally only. Okay, a couple of more things. We got really sad news this week. News that everybody was so shocked about. So shocked. Dorit Kemsley announces that her and PK, after 9 years of marriage, are taking time apart. This actually is in conjunction with the start of filming of the new season of Beverly Hills, which started this past week. Sophie, what were your thoughts? Were you sad? Were you, what are the thought process here?
My first thought, obviously, was that Mauricio and Dorit can finally be together.
We are a sick culture. How dare you? But I would love to see it. Love. I've got a new love being in my life. I got a new. Bibu babu boo boo. Oh, Mauricio.
I think they're Beshert, which is Yiddish.
Yeah, I know.
They're both Jewish. For meant to be. They are soulmates, meant to be.
Well, this is where you're going to find out that Mauricio probably prefers way younger women. He's going to be like, you're too old, Love Bean. You're too old for me.
Okay, sure.
But it would be a fascinating story.
How good the new season would be?
Well, think about it.
Oh my God.
It's all these single women now. You got Erica Jane single, Garcelle single, Dorit single, Kyle. We don't know what's going on with Morgan Wade. Sutton single. Like it is going to potentially it's going to be a sausage hunt.
They're all single.
Yeah. Imagine if they fight over the same man. I mean, like what is going to happen on Beverly Hills this season? They added 2 new cast members, which at this point I'm like, whatever, we'll take it as it comes. I think Anna Marie Wiley was such a big flop and she still will not shut her mouth.
God.
She is still going after Crystal. Crystal's not even on the show. And it's like, girl, what are you doing? Especially when your husband has so much shit.
Remember when she quote tweeted like a parody account? Like it wasn't the real Crystal.
Yeah.
And she was like, it was so crazy. It was so bad.
She's done it a couple of times now. It's really sad. So yeah, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Dorit. We had the new season of Real Housewives of New Jersey premiere this week. Did you watch? Did you care?
No, I don't. I haven't watched Sophie in like years. I'm sorry.
It's fine, but it's more disturbing to follow what's going on online with these like accounts that are all fighting with each other that potentially Teresa and Margaret and all of these people reached out to. It really is potentially going to ruin the show unless they decide to break the fourth wall, which is what Vanderpump Rules. By the way, Vanderpump Rules should have broken the fourth wall many moons ago, and I hope next season is just constant fourth wall breaking because I hope producer Jerry is a cast member next season on Vanderpump Rules.
Oh God.
And finally here, Well, Gypsy Rose, by the way, Gypsy Rose visited Los Angeles and she visited SUR. Did you see this?
Yes.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard visited SUR because
Stassi's cousin.
I know her Lifetime docuseries reality show is going to premiere soon, but she is getting messy in the comments with Ryan, her ex, because she's now moved on to a new guy. This Gypsy Rose might wind up on Vanderpump Rules at some point. It is a lot of mess potentially with Gypsy Rose.
Ooh, baby. What if he starts dating Peter?
Oh my God, Peter finally, he's like, she starts dating Peter in hopes of getting on Vanderpump Rules, and then Peter has to break it to her. He's like, they wouldn't even give me $50 to appear on an episode. He's like, I can hire you here as a waiter or something, like a bar back maybe, but like they don't want anything to do with me. Okay, and finally, your thoughts on the Met Gala on Monday. Were you swept away? Thoughts on the Met Gala?
Who was my best dressed? Oh, Tyla. There were like some
that Sandress. That Sandress was insane.
It was so good. It was so good. It was Bama. Brie Larson.
Can I go out and buy? Can I go into a Balmain store and buy a Sandress?
I think those are made to order, unfortunately. But yeah.
Okay.
And Zendaya, her second look. Yeah,
why was she allowed to have 2 looks? Why was she allowed to have 2 looks?
It was for
we all have 2 looks.
Let her for the drama. Like, why not? They
I also wondered if
crazy how they redid her makeup so
well. She had that really dark smoky eye on the first look, and then it changed on the second look.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, we should have talked about this earlier. Kim Kardashian, very tiny waist. She had a cardigan sweater over. What was the deal with Kim? What was the deal with all that?
The corset thing, it's just like become her thing at the Met Gala, I guess. And it's like so boring and just like uninteresting and also like sets women backwards, in my opinion. But if not for that part, I really did like the look a lot. I watched the Vogue video where she like talked about like the shrug and how she was supposed to look like she like woke up in a garden like after partying the night before.
Yeah.
Well, she said like Kim stan.
Should beauty? Well, she always says this every year, like beauty, like, oh, she's like, I got to stand on my tiptoes. We can do it. Like, should beauty be pain? Should, like, she always kind of thinks like, she's like evil Knievel of the Met Gala.
She's really committed to like the pain part of it. And I don't think you like need the pain part of it.
Yeah. Does it have to be like that?
Like she was talking about how, she was on her tiptoes because she was wearing shoes without heels, in which case you can wear like platforms. Like, you don't have to wear, like, actually, like, because the heels kept getting stuck in the dress, I guess. Anyway, can you imagine if she had fallen over, like, on the red carpet at the Met Gala? Like, that would have been so funny.
I mean, that, by the way, that's where we're headed. Like, what is Kim going to do to top herself next?
She's lucky that didn't happen, but, like, it could have. And I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think beauty has to be pain.
I feel like she's going to break her arm next year and not put it in a sling just so she can get a weird angle of like, look at what I did for the art of all of this. The Bear season 3 premieres in June. All episodes on FX if you're a big fan of that show. Tonight, or actually this weekend, Lisa Rinna makes an appearance on a Lifetime movie called Mommy Murderer. Lisa Rinna is back on the tiny screen.
Mommy Meanest or something?
Oh, Mommy Meanest. Sorry, Mommy Meanest.
And it's a movie about Lisa Rinna like bullying her own daughter. And I'm like,
it really is casting. It is true. You better eat this fucking bolognese or you're out of this house. Yeah, guys, hope everybody enjoyed the Northern Lights this weekend. I was not able to see them from Los Angeles, but all of your Instagram pictures are beautiful. Sophie, what's coming up for you this week? Anything that we need to pay attention to?
Nothing. I actually have a personal trainer for the first time in my life because, you know.
What? For the wedding? For the wedding?
For the wedding.
Or for Joe Burrow?
Laughing just now hurt my abs. I'm going to have abs soon, you guys. Just wait.
What's it? Dude, I have not felt my abs in like a decade now. That's got to be really scary to feel.
It's a new feeling for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't feel anything. That's amazing. Also, plug that jacket one more time. I think it looks awesome. Who's that from? The Cincinnati Bengals thing?
75 South. Wait, let me just triple check the name. 75 South Clothing. 75
South Clothing.
Yeah.
Do we go to their website or Instagram or what?
I'll tag them on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, make sure. So on Monday I can post it if anybody's asking about it.
Yeah,
there is.
The patch is actually Velcro, and they sent me a Reds one too, in case I feel like.
Shit! Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. Like the patch, like you can.
I love the
like
patch.
switch out the patch.
Oh, that's dope. I actually, not all joking aside, really dig that. Sophie, have a great rest of your weekend and a great week. You guys. There are going to be all new episodes this week. I've got interviews with a lot of heavy hitters. I'm not going to be doing the Vanderpump Rules Part 1 until the week after. So there's plenty of options for you to go listen to, but I will catch up. But I'm going to try to not work a lot this week to try to go enjoy myself. But you're going to get new episodes all week with amazing people. We might have Danny Pellegrino on the show. Just a lot of big people might be stopping by. So tune in all week. Sophie, thank you so much for doing this. And please make your fiance cry today. I would really love that.
I will.
Okay.